story you can tell in Destin, you could tell in Pensacola or Biloxi, Mississippi, or Brownsville, Texas, or Rhode Island, or New England. Fishermen, fishing communities have a common bond. We all have the same issues. We all have the same concerns. We have the same challenges of trying to be businessmen, raise our families and provide for them and do it off this resource.
You know, being born and raised in Destin, the son of a charter boat captain, fishing was the way that we supported our family. It's the way that we ate dinner a lot of times when things were tough. Fishing is Destin. This community is completely and 100% derived from that, and because of that, it's grown to become many, many great things, from the tourism to the beaches to the restaurants. But it all started with the fisheries.
My family's been here since the place was first settled by white settlers. We were, of course, fishermen from New England starting out, and so then we became fishermen here and participated in the pioneering years of the red snapper fishery. Destin always was intimately tied to the fisheries. That was the only way you could make a living.
You know, when I started out on chasing the American dream, I just had the passion to fish. Most of the guys in my industry, that's the way it is. There's something inside of us that makes us want to do what we do on the water, dealing with Mother Nature on a daily basis. It's a tough life, and it's hard to prosper as a fisherman. And some of it was self-inflicted. Before Magnuson came along, a lot of our fisheries were depleted, and we did it to ourselves. And here's the big problem. In the last 30 years, you've had this tremendous movement of population here on the Gulf Coast towards the water. And then you throw in the GPS and the technology, and what happened is the average guy who can just throw $50,000 or $100,000 down on the table can outfit a boat and in one day become just as efficient at harvesting fish as me. That used to not to be the case 20, 30 years ago.
Back in the good old days when it was all line of sight navigation and there were no depth sounders and there were no LORANs or sat-navs, it was a very select few who could actually pursue the fishery. But in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, then there was just too much pressure on the fish. And if you catch enough of any resource, you can start to impact it.
And I said to a contemporary that was actually more like a mentor, I said, Paul, we're going to catch all these fish if we don't find some way to regulate how we catch them. And his answer to me was, that's exactly right. That's why we need to fish harder, so we make sure we get our fair share before they're gone.
We have the technology and the population and the capabilities to eradicate every resource in the Gulf of Mexico. So without Magnuson, and you left it up to us, we would kill the resource.
The Magnuson Stevens Act has really solidified our place in the economy by allowing these protections to be put in place, by giving us a stakeholder-driven process where we can go to a regional council and give our input into the things that are good, the things that are bad, and the things that need to be changed, has really opened the door for us to tailor management to not only a business standpoint, but also a personal standpoint.
Having these federal standards and guidelines brings the states that share the coastlines together to make sure that not one state, overfishes while another state has better conservation efforts. So without Magnuson, it would be a splintered voice. And what we really need to continue to have through Magnuson is one united voice.
People come to Destin for the fishing and for the Gulf. The golf courses and the shopping centers, that's an amenity to our area. Our town and our economy and the tourists that come visit us was built on fishing. I mean, that speaks for itself. If we don't have a thriving fishery, then we don't have a thriving economy in Destin.
It's very, very important that we continue to manage these fisheries properly, not only for the restaurants to continuously get fantastic local Gulf seafood for our customers and our guests, but also to help support the many, many, many families that's how they support their way of life.
Magnuson Stevens is not just about commercial fishing or just about charter fishing or recreational. It's about all of us working together, tailoring our management to each individual sector's needs, and creating a thriving fishery.
What Magnuson has done for us is make sure that we did not shoot ourselves in the foot. If we didn't stop and take a deep breath and figure out what to do, we wouldn't be able to stand here today and talk about how great the fishing is.
Right now, the commercial and charter fleet, this is the most prosperous this fleet has been probably since 1980. And it's all because of Magnuson. It's all because our fisheries are rebuilding.
Magnuson has made us stay the course and find solutions rather than just saying, okay, I want more fish because I want more fish. It says, I want more fish, but I'm going to find a way to be a better steward of those fish to where there will be more fish out there so we can catch them in the future.
It's all about the future generations, and I'm thankful that the generations before me thought about my generation. So therefore, I find it to be our generation's responsibility to push forward with these conservation efforts for my son, for his son, and for everybody that comes down here to enjoy this resource. This isn't just about a decade of fishermen. This is about a lifetime of fishermen and multiple generations and decades of people being able to enjoy such an abundant resource. Without the conservation efforts of Magnuson, where would we be?